Hey guys, and welcome back. The MCU has just given us exactly what we've asked for, a show with a sinister and serious tone which is consistent throughout all the trailers. Who would have thought that Nick Fury would have his own TV series? This trailer gives us a glimpse into what we can expect, and I'll be breaking down all of the details you may have missed. I'll run through a few of the Easter eggs from this trailer and also give my verdict on what I expect to happen. Please take your time to like this video and subscribe to my channel to show your support. Now before we dive into the nitty-gritty details, let's take a look at the all-star cast. Secret Invasion has such a fantastic casting. We have Olivia Colman, Emilia Clarke, Samuel L. Jackson, Ben Mendelsohn, Don Cheadle and more. We'll also see some familiar faces from the MCU which I'll mention in just a moment. Well, firstly we have Nick Fury.
All the loves and hugs that he needs, right?
I think enough said about that. Next up we have Game of Thrones heartthrob Emilia Clarke. She will play the daughter of Talos, Gaia. Next we have Ben Mendelsohn, who will play her father Talos. Again, it seems as though the Skrull characters have acquired human avatars to blend into the human community. Next up we have Kingsley Ben Adir, who will play as the rebel Skrull leader Gravik. Now Gravik is likely to be the main villain that this show is based upon, as we see a few clips of him in the trailer. Next up we have Martin Freeman, and he returns again as Everett, as does Don Cheadle as James Rhodey, aka War Machine. Now that's just a handful of the superb actors that have been casted for this mini-series. Now let's talk a little bit more about the characters that some of these individuals will play, and some new faces to enter the MCU. Gaia. Now it seems as though she has a pretty impressive makeover. The last time we saw her she was a little green Skrull in the Captain Marvel movie, and yes, she's chosen a very fitting avatar, that is Emilia Clarke. Like the rest of her species, Gaia is able to shapeshift. It seems as though this will be a consistent theme for Secret Invasion. For those that don't remember, it was at the end of the Captain Marvel movie that Carol Danvers offered to serve as the protectors of the Skrulls as they travel the universe in search of a new home planet. It'll be interesting to know how they managed to end up back on Earth. Now Talos will also appear once again, however in human form. Portrayed by actor Ben Mendelsohn, Talos is father to Gaia, and is a Skrull general who collaborated with Mar-Vell in order to save the Skrull refugees from the Kree Empire. Following the events from the Captain Marvel movie, Talos has made a life for himself on Earth. Next up we have Gravik. As mentioned before, Gravik is likely to be the main villain in this mini-series. We see several clips of him in the final trailer. Gravik is the leader of a radical Skrull faction who led a covert invasion of Earth to seize its resources. This also reinforces the title of the show as Secret Invasion. Since Gravik is also Skrull, he too has the ability to shapeshift and take on a human avatar. Little is known about the history of Gravik, since this will be his introduction to the MCU. It is difficult to understand what significance he and his character will play, but due to the number of times we've seen him in this trailer, I bet he will be the main antagonist for this series. Now before we talk a little bit more about this show, let me give you guys a little bit of a history lesson. So this new series shares the same name of the comic, Secret Invasion. The comic book is a crossover storyline that ran through a self-titled 8-issue limited series. The story involves a subversive, long-term invasion of Earth by the Skrulls. The Earth superheroes Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic, Namor, Black Bolt, Professor Charles Xavier and Doctor Strange join as a group of individuals called the Illuminati to secretly confront the Skrulls. Now this piece of information gives us a strong suggestion that there could be a multiverse crossover like in the Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness movie. We're already introduced to a handful of the Illuminati in this film. A scene showing a typical secret meeting with a group of the Illuminati in this movie could provide us with some of the heroes we may expect in this TV series. Now with Iron Man dead, could he be revived from another universe? Could he enter from another universe? Would it still be Robert Downey Jr.? Which I pretty much doubt. But I'd love to see Reed Richards, also known as Mr. Fantastic, played by John Krasinski again. I'm not going to go into great detail about this comic as we'll be here for a very long time, so let's continue with some of the things we can expect in this particular series. So this series is a sequel to Captain Marvel, Spider-Man Far From Home and Black Panther Wakanda Forever. The series is set in the present day MCU. Now the synopsis for this show is as follows. Fury learns of a clandestine invasion of Earth by a faction of shape-shifting Skrulls. Fury joins his allies including Everett Ross, Maria Hill, and the Skrull Talos, who has made a life for himself on Earth. Together they race against time to thwart an imminent Skrull invasion to save humanity. So it's likely that the first season will mainly focus on Nick Fury teaming up with a group of allies, and in typical Nick Fury fashion, recruit some of our well-known MCU heroes to fight against the Skrull. Since the Skrull have the ability to shapeshift, it's likely that they will have already infiltrated the government and will pose a serious threat from the get-go. The trailers give us a great feel to what we can expect in this show. Let me go through some of the Easter eggs that you may have missed. Firstly, we see Rhodey return. The appearance of James Rhodey is a great surprise and marks the 10th appearance from the character in the MCU. Rhodey is seen in the trailer meeting with Nick Fury. It's unknown just how much Rhodey knows of Nick Fury's antics, but considering the character is high-class military personnel and someone who's rather intelligent, this may be an exchange of information between the long-standing allies. It'll be pretty cool to see Rhodey put on the iron suit of War Machine once again. Nick Fury's eye patch. In the trailer, Nick Fury is looking pretty roughed up. You could even mistake him for somebody who's homeless. Since Skrulls are known to replicate the identities of anyone, perhaps Nick Fury is outsmarting them by not wearing an eye patch, as his scar may be way too intricate to detail. This could be a way of letting his allies know that he is the real Nick Fury. Everett Ross is briefly seen as he makes his return in the MCU. Ross is a CIA agent and worked closely with the people of Wakanda to help defeat Eric Killmonger's forces and put T'Challa back onto the throne of Wakanda. It may appear that the Skrulls are trying to find him to kidnap him so that they can disguise themselves as the only Everett A. Ross and infiltrate Wakanda and the US government. Another character that appears in the trailer is Maria Hill. This character is often seen with Nick Fury in the Avengers film. Maria's fate is unknown after Spider-Man Far From Home. However, we're expecting her to team up with Nick Fury once again for some really awesome spy action and espionage. Headstone number 2. This isn't the first time Nick Fury has been presumed dead. The first time we saw a headstone was after the Captain America Winter Soldier movie, with a stone that said his name and had the beginning of Ezekiel 25:17 engraved on it. The path of the righteous man, etc. A Super Skrull. Gravik stretches out his arm and attacks an off-screen enemy. His abilities seem slightly different than that of the average Skrulls, which could mean he is the first appearance of the MCU's version of a Super Skrull. In the original comics, the Super Skrull had the abilities of the entire team of the Fantastic Four. So, there's a handful of Easter eggs that you may or may not have picked up on through the trailers that we have seen. Let me know in the comments down below if there's any that you think I may have missed. So, in conclusion, Secret Invasion is due to be released on June the 21st this year on Disney+. The first season will consist of only 6 episodes. The trailers that we've seen so far are everything what us fans want from the MCU. The theme seems pretty dark and serious, giving us a more sinister vibe in comparison to some of the shows already released. Now it will be interesting to know whether there will be any ties to the new phase of the MCU. I for one am super excited for this show and cannot wait to see Nick Fury reappear on our screens. Now let me know your thoughts by commenting down below, and don't forget to show your support by smashing that subscribe button down below. Thanks for watching.